Okay, so I'm just about to go into my dentist appointment here. I wanted to make a quick video talking about why I decided to leave Amazon. So I worked for Amazon from 2023 to just like a month ago. I loved it. I loved traveling. I loved the sightseeing. I loved seeing all the animals, the wildlife. I loved driving. I loved everything about it. But I was a casual. Now, other people who work, so technically I don't work for Amazon. I feel like I should also point that out. I don't work directly, or I wasn't working directly for Amazon. It was I guess you could call them like a subcontractor. So there's someone that Amazon hired to deliver their packages. The thing about this company, they have different districts all over Nova Scotia, all over New Brunswick, PEI, all over Canada. I loved working for them because I loved the flexibility. I didn't actually have a route. People at my district anyway, they had their own route. So people, like, they would have the same thing every day. And it was their responsibility to get that entire, that entire load of packages out. Every day. Like 365, they were responsible, which is insane. I don't understand how they do it. Like, hats off to them, because that ain't easy. I can't imagine. And I run a business, so I certainly never was interested in having a full-time position, really, because, well, first of all, I have 4 children. My husband works all the time. If he's not at work, he's either sleeping off a shift or, he has a very demanding work schedule. So there was no way that I was ever going to work full time. But it would have been nice to have at least like a consistent day. Like, okay, you work this day every week or something like that. That was something that I was looking to have at some point, but that opportunity never presented itself. Another thing about the subcontractor that I was working for, so when you work for this company, you're an independent contractor, so you are your own boss. To some degree, because as much as you're your own boss, there's still like supervisors sort of in your area that like to tell you what time you have to show up to pick up packages, when they need to be delivered, just things like that. So you're you're an independent contractor to a degree, but it almost kind of feels like you're an employee, because they can dismiss you at their own will. If they don't like your attitude, if they don't like, if you don't like how they're doing, or I'm getting a text and trying to talk at the same time. If they don't like the service that you're providing, just like anyone who hires someone, they can let you go. So you don't really want to not do what they're saying necessarily. So that was kind of like a crazy dynamic. Regardless, I still love the job because I didn't have I wasn't full-time, so I didn't have that 365 day of the year responsibility. So I really enjoyed it because all I was doing was filling in for those people who had those full-time routes when they needed me. But the trouble with that is they're not always very organized about it because things come up. You know, like maybe their kid's sick or they have appointments, you know, like it's this, like there was no scheduling. Like it's not like any other job where it's like, okay, you work 9 to 5 this day, that day, or whatever. It's not like that. It's like, we need you now. Can you come now? And that's really demanding and really challenging when, you know, like for me, like I run 2 different businesses and I have a family to take care of. And I'm pretty well the full-time person running my household. So you can imagine that things can spiral out of control pretty quickly if I'm working like more than one day that week. How backed up the laundry could get, or the dishes could get, or forgetting things that are going on at school. And as a person with ADHD, it was really, really, really troubling because one thing about ADHD is that we love new things. We love adventures and things like that. But we also thrive with routines. So while I loved not having a routine, it was also killing me. So back in May, my sister and I went on an adventure back to our home province, Newfoundland. And during that time, my kids weren't with me. My husband wasn't with me. And I guess I sort of had some moments of clarity, some time to think, like uninterrupted thought. And I just felt like, why am I doing this? Like, the stress that this causes me is unbelievable. The benefits are minimal. We got paid next to nothing for gas. There was no meal allowance or anything like that. And I mean, when I would go out, I was taking my kids with me. So you can imagine how expensive that gets with food and different things that you need in the run of a day. It was just really, really challenging, not to mention the wear and tear on my vehicle. I was driving up to like 400 kilometers in a day. It was crazy. And while I loved it, and I wouldn't have done it so long if I hadn't loved it. I did love it. It just really wasn't worth it mentally, physically, and financially. So when I came back from my trip, I just sort of pulled back. Like I wasn't asking for shifts or hours, and I just sort of waited to see how things went. And like this past week, I sent in a message and just said, I think I'm done, because I've been feeling a lot better, a lot clearer, and things just make a little bit more sense now that I'm not doing that job. So now my full-time gig is, my full-time gig is always being a mom, but also just working on my business and continuing with selling clothing online and things like that. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So we won't have any delivery videos anymore, but we certainly have a lot going on. So there's a lot of content to be seen just in that. So anyway, that's my rant for the day. Thanks for listening.